folks. All right. All right. Yes. I will talk to you a little later, Ma.
All right. I got to tell you, one step.
You mean one set?
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
Love you, Ma.
Love you.
I love you guys. One set.
All right. Talk to you.
You guys.
All right. Love you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Gotta love her.
Well, this has been One Step with Anthony.
Everybody, welcome to One Set.
Dude, how about that pool episode, though?
I know, right?
That was so fun, man. And now we're here.
I was just saying the fact that, we did the pool episode like 2 months ago now.
Well, it was
2-3 months ago.
10 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And now, like, it's closed.
I mean, it's almost closed. Like, the solar blanket's on, but
right.
Like, my dad likes to keep the pool open until October because sometimes there's like 90-degree weather in October.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like that's going to be the case now. Let me just check out I know it's supposed to rain like forever.
Mm-hmm.
Rain.
Rain, go away.
Yeah, go away. Go away.
Way.
Yeah, I mean, the highest is Thursday, 76 degrees. Man, we're talking about weather. How freaking old are we? Right?
Too old. Too old.
Man.
And get this started?
Let's get this started.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of One Set. I'm your boy, Anthony.
Jim Green here. How we doing? First name basis with the audience. I'm like, I got to use first and last name. Like,
you guys should know us by now, hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Episode 40.
40. Man. I feel like it was like a month ago that we did like our first couple of episodes. It's
I know.
Wild.
It's like, especially, it's October 1st. Spoiler. But, like, again, been doing this for 10 months already. And like you just said, it feels like we just started this like 2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and we've been doing every 10 episodes. We're doing like the in-person recordings. And, I don't know, because I feel like when we did episode 30, it was 2 weeks before.
Yes.
Like okay, so we're recording this the Saturday before it gets published.
Right.
So that would have been like 11 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. 11 weeks ago. Math things. Yeah. I'm trying. Everyone,
yeah.
All right. But like, oh my God, like, what was that? Mid-June that we shot that? It was like June 16th, I think.
Yeah, it was literally right before Little Tone's second birthday, I think. So I remember the week or two before. Could be wrong. I know we had something going on a little before that, or I may have had a show. But you guys should know. You saw the episode. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I swore I had it in my calendar. Any rate, I mean, all I have to do is go back 11 weeks from today.
Exactly.
Out. 1, 2,
yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But
9,
just as
10, 11. Yeah, it
just
was
as fun as our summer time has went. It is come and gone. We are now in fall.
Yeah, mate. Cheers. What you got there?
Cheers. I don't know. This is a concoction that you pretty much introduced to me about. So why don't you tell the audience what we're drinking?
Yeah. So I told Anthony, look, it's Sober October.
We're not much sober right now, but
why don't you pick up some apple cider for the episode? He's like, all right, well, do you have any caramel vodka? And I'm like, I thought we were doing Sober October. It's October 1st. And he's like, well, technically this comes out on the 7th, so it won't be until, I'm like, eh.
So you were saying caramel, but then it's like caramel. Do you say caramel or caramel? I
say caramel.
I always say caramel too, and then I always see like people, it's caramel. Like, all right, like same difference. Or
Yeah, you also drink with your pinky off your nose.
Yeah.
Don't you? Oh, you're so freaking fancy, right?
Get the caramel.
Mm.
Whoopsie, pansy.
Oy vey. Okay, gotta get good.
So
with...
we're talking a lot of fall things since we are in the midst of fall. What's the first thing that comes to you when you think of fall?
I mean, for me, it's like I gotta go back to the dancing thing. The dance season always, like the regular season always restarted in September when we went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird to think, like I always think about how, like it to me, like September is the start of like the new year,
Right?
and I feel like summer is like the end of the year.
Yeah,
right.
Especially when you're in like your teenage years. I mean, you technically value those 3 months or like 2.5-3 months that you get out of school, because it flies by, and then before you know, you're back in a classroom.
Right. Well, and again, like I was a kid growing up, and I had like the summer months where I didn't have to really work.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't allowed to work because child labor laws and all that.
Whoopsie. Yeah, all that.
No, but seriously, I think like for me, it went from school, and then like I was in college when we opened the studio, and the studio flowed with the kids' schedules, which was school or not school.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like the start of the brand new year has like almost always been September. So it's like when you're watching, your favorite shows, even like wrestling, they do their season premiere,
which we're getting into.
Yeah. I feel like summer is like the end of the year for like everyone, because it's like when people's schedules are generally the most flexible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, since like you've been at your job like more than 10 years now, right?
13.
Jeez.
Unlucky number.
But
not unlucky to have the job, but unlucky number. Yeah. Clear
like,
that up.
You working that job and it feeling like almost the same, like week to week or month to month, like.
Yeah, especially because when you get into like working the 9 to 5, especially coming out of college, when you're so used to being in the classroom, especially college. I mean, you're not in a classroom all day. You have, breaks, and like some days you don't have class. But then when you get back to starting your the first week when I was doing a 9 to 5 job, I'm like, this sucks. Like, you realize, like, okay, no more spring vacation, like no more spring break, no more summer vacation. Like, you're working through that, and then you get people like, oh, well, I'm going here, like, unless you request off the time. But when you usually start a job like that, you have like a 90-day period where you're
it's like
not necessarily probation period where you're not necessarily allowed to like take off or anything. You're kind of just proving yourself in a way, but
earning your stripes.
Pretty much. Yeah. And at this point, it's like you got so much seniority, you're just like, I'm just gonna leave today. Like,
you're like, I'm out. See ya. Yeah.
Peace.
I mean, like,
but I used to hate going back into the fall. I used to hate August when I was in school, because you knew the back to school commercials were coming. When I started seeing that, I'm like, I'm not ready for summer to end yet. You got like the Kohl's commercials and Kmart and everything. So
Caldor,
Clover. Oh my God, Clover.
Not dating us at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
No. Dang. Yeah. I don't know. It was, and I go back to like when I went to Ocean City, Maryland with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were on our way back, and your mom was like, I'm in the classroom like tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that there was always something exciting about like the first day of school, but then it was like, I mean, that's how I felt at least. But
yeah, I mean, especially with like, brand new clothes, brand new shoes, you get to like kind of mac out a little bit. but then you realize somebody else got your own same damn clothes, and you're like, what the hell did you do? Stop shopping at Baby Gap.
It's also important to acknowledge, like, you and I, were in school in the time where social media and the internet wasn't like a thing.
No.
Now, kids still see each other every day through the summer. So I feel like it was exciting for us to go back, because we literally will go 2.5, close to 3 months without seeing most of the people, right?
And at this point, like with us, like talking almost every day, thinking about the fact that like when we were in school, like we had cell phones, but we didn't have like apps. We didn't have ways to really communicate unless you were calling people. And at that point, you had like your unlimited hours that like you had to wait until like 9 p.m. to really talk to people. Because when I was young, I only had my phone for like emergencies when I was coming out of basketball practice or something.
Right.
And, so like kids these days, they have everything at their, fingertips to be able to communicate with people. It's like how you were just mentioning the fact that like once you had summer vacation, unless you were talking to kids like in your
Circle.
section, in your circle, you weren't really seeing anybody until school, went back. So like, oh, I haven't seen you in 3 months. Like you've kind of changed a little bit, put on a little bit of weight, and that was bad.
No, it's true though. Like,
yeah,
like when we were,
I'm usually talking about myself. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, no, we will go back the first day of school and people would be like rolling in and be like, "Who the heck are you?"
Mm-hmm.
Like complete makeover.
It would just be like, it would just be like a whole, hey, welcome back. I haven't seen you in 3 months, and talking about this. What did you do over the summer and that? And then like, and then the next day it's like, all right, let's just get down to business. So
yeah, I mean, like the kids nowadays will never know it because they are so used to seeing each other on like social media platforms like daily.
I would think it's still, like the fashion sense of the first day of school is still a thing because, everybody with like trying to outdo everybody, I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. But the fact that like you don't get that high of being like, I haven't seen you in a couple months or a couple weeks or whatever. So like this has been like a, a reunion of people.
Right.
So, but I think like the whole fashion sense could probably still be a thing. Like, oh, I gotta, show off my new threads for first day.
Yeah.
But then you get through October and you're like, all right, well, I'm already a month into school.
And everybody's just showing up in pajamas.
Like, at that point, yeah.
Everyone's like, I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit anymore. Just fail me. Like at that point, I think we already had like our first like exams, and I'm talking high school, because high school, like you didn't really have like your first big probably about this point. College, you probably had your first test in like 3 weeks.
Within the first like 2.
Yeah.
Probably.
And
it was like, okay, here's syllabus week. Okay, test 1 is next Wednesday.
That was always that was always the first thing I looked for in the syllabus. Like, okay, when's my first exam? Like,
Yeah.
how much do I really have to pay attention until I have to pay attention?
You're just prioritizing.
Right. And I think that's where a lot of people like coming into college from high school, if you didn't care in high school, they don't care if you do the work in college. They're not going to hold your hand like they did in high school and make you say like, you got to do this. In college, you don't do it. I already got paid. So I already got your tuition money. So if you don't do it, that's on you.
Yeah.
They're not going to hold your hand anymore.
I think like, obviously, like by law, we have to be in school until we're 16 before we can drop out.
Yeah.
Right. I had one friend that dropped out of high school.
Same.
And I remember,
well, technically, but yeah.
I remember him when he left the first day, he like walked out, threw his middle fingers in the air, and smiled real big. And I just stood there. I was like, dude.
Right.
And
you're making a big mistake.
Yeah. Said person is, has completely fallen off the face of the earth, been to jail a couple times. Like,
and it was the person that I think you're talking about. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a shame because like he, and definitely not name dropping him, but
no.
He was someone when I went to middle school that I like thought was like the coolest kid. And
right.
I was like, oh, people think he's great, like he's super cool, like could pick up girls kind of thing.
Right.
I mean,
So if you're watching, and we know you are, hi.
nah, and it just, got held back once and then was in our grade.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because he was in a grade above us first, got held back, was in our grade, and then got held back again in high school and was the grade below us. And I'm like,
I didn't know he got held back again after
yeah,
that. But yeah,
we both went on to 10th grade and he got to do 9th grade again.
brutal.
And I was like, so it's not a new year for you because you're just doing the same thing
Right.
all the time. And like,
jeez, I can't imagine doing grade twice.
Dude,
Or well, three if you technically say it. I mean, like going through, like, because you see new class members each of those years, so it's not like you're seeing the same people. You're seeing new faces every year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
he was just like, I'm the cool kid, I'm the badass that got held back. And it's like,
we're going this way, like, I'm gonna stay back here.
I was like, dude, I can't wait to graduate with you. And never happened, and dropped out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I had a buddy that did the same thing, and I mean, he dropped out of high school, but he kind of went to and got his GED, and it was more the fact that, and again, I'm not name dropping, but I think you know who I'm talking about.
Actually, and I was trying to figure out who you were talking about. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so it was like, but we still hung out, whatever.
Yeah, the only time hanged is the thing is if like someone's getting hanged.
Oh,
that's how that past tense works. I learned that in I think it was Mr. P's
probably
English class.
But
it's like it's not hung if you're being hanged. And I'm like, how does the English language is so
up,
man.
It really is. We do have a really weird language. Like even it's people who are trying to learn our language, like I'd rather just say my language and just call it a day.
Right. Well, it's like
because we have so many like different
irregulars.
Yeah, that like when you try like Spanish and like Chinese and all these things, it's like it makes sense when you're trying to learn those things, but then when you are trying to teach somebody English, you're like, it's almost like, well, shouldn't that be like this way? No, we just do it this way. So it's like, but anyway, before we go too far off the rails, so he dropped out, but we still hung out after school, and we're still friends and stuff. So it's almost like he was still in school with us, but we just weren't in class anymore. So he eventually got his GED, and I mean, again, he's doing good for himself, but he's not as bad as the other person we mentioned. But
right,
on the fact that it's like and the kid was very smart, and it's just unfortunate that he just didn't apply himself more, because he was definitely like you, like good at math, and I think he definitely would have been a great accountant or doing something with numbers. So it's unfortunate, but
yeah, I mean,
that's how it is. A lot of people coming in and out of your life, and you think, okay, well, that's life. You can either stick around with those people and kind of see how it plans out, or you can just be like, okay, well, either these people hold me back, and if these people hold me back, I gotta make a choice of whether I want to stick around with these people or kind of just keep on going. And both of us, we just kept doing what we loved. So
yeah, I think like for the person I was talking about, when I was like, dude, you're actually like pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
And his excuse was like, yeah, if I do good in school, my dad will just expect me to do better. And I'm like, that is the lamest fucking excuse I've ever heard. You're literally blaming your dad,
right,
for why you're being a failure. Like, come on.
I've been a failure for over 75 years. Wrote a song about it, like the hit go.
Oh, man,
I'll put a clip of that.
You did it best.
I tried.
Just getting back on track here. It's like, what is the first thing that you think of when you think of fall? I'm like, to me, it was always like the new year,
Right.
like December, holidays, January 1st being a happy new year. I'm like, this year is the same thing that
I
just
always thought,
happened
like,
in the last
and
4 months.
even though that was the new year, I took that as the middle of the middle of the school year, because you're kind of had like that Christmas break. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's like how basketball has like the all-star break. That's like halfway through the season. Like, okay, this is our all-star break. Like,
Yeah.
So it was more like, okay, you got a week off, and then okay, then you start doing the countdown. Like, okay, how many more weeks until spring break? How many? And then you have a little bit of time, and then you're like, okay, out of school. Then you're like, all right, let me just get through these last like 6 weeks. Then I'm good.
Right. It's so interesting, like, to think like who decided that the school year calendar was September to June. I mean,
I don't know.
I know some schools start in August and go till like the end of May.
Yeah.
Which, like, thank God we didn't have to do that, because like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are like surrounding districts that try to start the week before Labor Day weekend, and the parents just go in a full blown frenzy,
Right.
because they're like, no, we're doing Labor Day weekend, and then the new year starts, summer ends. Like, that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, I remember being in Maryland, and there was a couple kids. I was, ironically, I was fishing with my dad, and a couple kids around as we were talking, and he was mentioning like, yeah, I'm already like 2-3 weeks into school. I'm like, well, that blows. And
Yeah.
it was like August. I'm like, how much does that suck for you to be in school in summer? And that's the thing. Like, I think like if not still, I think Maryland, they go to school before Labor Day weekend, where we're so used to going after the Labor Day weekend,
Yeah,
where that's like the holy grail. Like, okay, this is the last week of summer, get all your fun in now, because after that, like my mom was always like, all right, this is your last weekend to like have all your fun, get it all out, because once school hits, you're done. Back to the books, back to doing this and that. I'm like,
aren't there like certain cultures that like they do like their winter is their break, and then they go to school? Like, I'm pretty sure like South America, maybe. I gotta look this up.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up.
Yeah, carry out this conversation.
I know this doesn't necessarily go with like school, but I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows, we'll have to probably look it up too. But I think in India, like people who work, like they get to like necessarily have like that break during the day, like almost like and I'm probably screwing up this name. I hope it's the right name, like a siesta. Like, you get to come home for lunch, take a nap, have that, and then you go back to work.
Yeah,
that would mean I would not be going back to work.
You'd be like,
I'm taking a half day. Like,
you text your boss, go pound sand.
Yeah, right. Siesta my whoopsie. Taking a long nap today.
You ever go night?
I'm going night. But you got to pay me.
Yeah, school schedules, Latin America. I'm gonna look up.
Yeah, school scheduled in Latin
all worldwide
America.
current school calendars. Yeah, that's absolutely one I wanted to see.
Right.
It's like you can just plug in wherever, and it's like, tell me what your calendar is.
Right.
Yes, no.
Whoopsie. I don't think it's really giving us much information.
No, it's
but
all right, I'm not going to waste our time like going through all this, but I'm pretty sure like I think it's just like very much like either an American thing or like a Anglo-Saxon European thing, but like the school schedules like around the world are not all the same. Like, I'm pretty sure
I'm sure everybody has like a little bit of a
if
differentiality to it.
If you're watching this and you can educate us better,
please do it.
Let us know, because we're
so dumb. Like,
Anthony over here has his master's. I have some college, but like we're so far removed.
But we still don't know things.
Yeah,
the master's is only a written piece of paper. I mean,
it's all good, man.
But I'm proud. I mean, you got to have a little bit of, it was a lot of hard work, but yeah.
Let's talk about coffee real quick.
Coffee, right?
So
now you're not a coffee drinker, where I've developed a tolerance for coffee, where a lot of coffee drinkers like are like, oh, I need coffee, I don't need coffee. I just feel it's like
It's almost just automatic.
it's
now.
just been
You do it.
automatic now,
Yeah.
just from being, you know, a dad for the last like 2 years and waking up at like 6 a.m. You're like, all right, just Jen will be like, you want coffee? I'm like, is that a real question? Like,
I mean, it's like just get it done.
just get it done. Yeah. Like, do you really have to ask me anymore? Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like the brain fact, like you don't necessarily need it, but it's like it's been put in your brain, like, okay, coffee in the morning, coffee in the morning, coffee in the morning.
I think important to acknowledge, like, you have an AM like early wake up call, and
Yeah.
anyone that has that early wake up call, if I, you know, had that, the time in my life where I had that early wake up call was when I worked at Wawa,
Right.
and we got 3 cups of coffee free while we're like on shift working.
Nice.
So when I had like a 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift, that was when I started drinking coffee. I never drank coffee before that because I didn't have to be like a morning. Granted, like, yeah, did we get up early for school? Sure. Did I drink coffee when I was a kid? No, never.
Me either. No.
I think I tried it once and I was like, this is basically poop water, like that Woodstock video. Right?
Yeah. And I remember my dad, speaking of coffee. So my dad, every morning, I distinctively remember every morning my dad grinding coffee beans. Every morning I would be waking up to, and then even Jen would be like, can vouch for me because, you know, when she was sometimes like, you know, even spend the night sometimes when we were first dating and stuff, she would be, you know, waking up because she would have to go to work the next day, and she would be remember him like grinding up the coffee beans, and just like, he does this that early in the morning, like every morning, like until he got a Keurig, then he had to worry about it.
Yeah, well, the Keurigs didn't come out till like 10 years ago or 15.
Some there's, I mean, yeah, I think they're still relatively new in
the
years.
last 10, 15 years, I think.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
instant coffee, pretty much.
My dad
Yeah.
still uses a percolator, like, to make his coffee.
Oh yeah, I know some people that still do that.
Yeah, I mean, he like swears by it.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is a Keurig. Like, ever
Now,
since
do they
Keurig
like
was-
strong coffee, medium, or like how strong do they usually drink it?
I'd say my dad likes his like a little darker than my mom. I would guess that your parents are kind of like the same.
I'd really, to me, coffee's coffee. I never really had like a preference of like it's either got to be like really dark or like medium. Like, coffee's coffee to me. I think it's more for me like as long as it kind of has a little bit of a sweet taste to it. Like, what? Because I drank black coffee here and there, but I'm not too big on black coffee. Like, it's usually the creamers that do it for me because I've always been a sweet guy. But it's usually the creamer and then sugar. I don't put a lot of sugar in my coffee anymore. More, I get the sugar from the creamer. So then it kind of eliminates all the sugar that you put in. Because some people, they'll put the creamer in there, then they'll put like 2 and 3, 4 spoonfuls of sugar, where it just like, now that's just way too sweet for me. It's like
Overkill.
It's overkill. Yeah. So like, you know, even like the small little creamer cups, I'll put 2 of those and I'll be fine. And if they don't have them, I can drink black coffee.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
like
it's a taste that you have to acquire. I feel if you're not used to it,
right.
Like if you haven't had it in a while, it does give like a little bit of a bland taste. But yeah, normally it's like creamer, like either 2 of those little cup creamers, or like, you know, a little bit of creamer, and I'm good. I don't really need a whole bunch of sugar in there.
Just had this conversation this morning because I made myself 2 cups of coffee this morning, actually, which rarely I drink coffee
Right.
at this point. I was just like jonesing for it. And the creamer that we have here is just like straight creamer. It's not like flavored or anything.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
creamer. So
The like liquid creamer or the powdered creamer?
liquid creamer.
Okay. Have you tried the powdered creamer before?
I've done it.
Do you like it? Me either.
It kind of
No.
sucks.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, you suck.
Whoopsie.
You suck.
Whoopsie. Ah. But
Yeah, but
yeah, I never got into the powdered creamer. That's I don't know who invented that. They need to stop doing that. I mean, hey, if you like it, go for it. But
Yeah.
I'm always liquid cream.
liquid cream. Yeah, so like I I did a pinch of sugar in my coffee, and I'm like, this doesn't taste great. So when I made my second cup this morning, I did like
A little bit more.
double the amount, and I was like, okay, this is what I need. Just
Right.
to like the sugar holster has like a tiny like spoon
Mm-hmm.
that you use to scoop it, and I would usually just do one because I'm like, I don't want all that sugar.
Exactly.
But I did like two, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this like way more. It's not overkill.
Yeah.
For me, like just like you, I would prefer like a flavored creamer, like a French vanilla or like
French vanilla,
hazelnut.
Those are my go-tos.
Yeah, me too.
If I don't have French vanilla, it's hazelnut. Or if they don't have French vanilla, hazelnut. Wawa, shout out Wawa. They had a peanut butter flavored coffee.
Haven't tried that yet.
It was good.
It's pretty good.
It was good. And they had a nut. Their blueberry was a blueberry cobbler coffee.
Yeah.
So good.
I've had that one.
So good. When they say limited edition, it's literally like 2 days.
Yeah. Like everyone's drinking it. It's gone.
Yeah.
You can't even get it. And
It's
like,
so good. And I feel like I only usually get like to try it like one time because it's always like very, very limited. Like the peanut butter one was out for a couple weeks. But the blueberry one, whenever I see that, I'm like, all right, snatching that.
Yeah. They're literally like, want some blueberry cobbler? Sorry, here's some blueberry.
It's still a B. I mean,
Life's a B, right?
I know, honey.
Got that right.
Hated it.
Hated it. Right. Oy vey. Okay. So coffee. Now, you said coffee's coffee.
Yeah.
I'll have to disagree on the iced coffee because for whatever reason, it doesn't do for me. Like,
I mean, I don't mind iced coffee, but I still prefer hot coffee. Jen's more the iced coffee person. She'll have iced coffee in this weather. I mean, now I don't consider it cold right now. It's what? It's a
cool.
good 60, 65 today.
It's cool enough that I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, right?
Yeah. And I had a small cup at our little luncheon today at work. It's like 59, 60.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's decent. Like even in this weather, I can fish because you put on like a layer or two and it's not bad. As long as it's not like terribly windy, I'm okay. And even right now, I mean, there's barely any wind. You'll get like a little gust of wind here and there, but like
you see some leaves moving around up there.
Yeah. Like
it's not like insane. No,
it's not that bad. But I mean, this is like the fall weather that I like when it's like that cool 60, 65. I can get down with that. But when it's like a breezy, like 50, 55, you're like, get me the out of here.
Yes. I mean, we were just talking like before we went live about how like I had the windows open in the apartment.
Yeah.
The other morning, well, like through the night. And then when I went to use the bathroom and I felt the seat, if you want to take a guess which number I was doing, I was like, ooh, the seat's cold. I was like, yes, fall weather is here, right?
Fall is here. The fall.
Dang. You know what I'm not going to miss? Getting out of the shower and then sweating.
Ugh. It's like you might as well just restart your day. Like, it's like, why did I even take a shower?
Yeah, seriously. Oh, got to get back in, get out, and you're like,
whoopsie,
I'm sweating again.
Yeah, you sweat from having a hot shower. Like you're sweating from sweating.
Yeah, I mean,
but I hate the fact that when you're taking showers in the winter, because you try to take a warm shower and then you come out into the cold. You're like, I want to keep like being under this hot shower, but you can't do that because you're just gonna run out the water and it's eventually gonna get cold. You're like, you try to ride it out as long as they'll do. You're like, all right, whoopsie. Here we go. Small world problems.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, oh, you got like we're talking about
problems.
All the yeah, small world. What am I talking about?
It's a small world after all. Yeah, that. Okay. Oh my God, so many things like with the like the weather changing over, and I don't mean to like sound like an old bag of
Hippie.
right?
Too hippie. It's the leaves for me.
Seriously, but like just like you said, hopping out of the shower and like the temperature being what it is,
Yeah,
it like messes with your whole day.
it
right?
really does. Yeah.
I mean, just earlier you were like, "What are you wearing today?" And I'm like, "You a girl?" And then I was like, "No,
are
but
we doing
seriously."
eyeliner or are we not? Like,
But I was like, seriously, I don't know what to wear because it's like I'm like kind of warm in this beanie,
right.
but I'm like, do I wear a hoodie? No, it's not. Like,
I was thinking about like either flannel, but I'm like, all right. I mean, I thought it was going to probably warm up a little bit today, so I'm like, is the flannel going to be too much? But I mean, I'm comfortable.
that's the thing with like the next 2-3 months is like it can go either way,
Right.
right? And
I mean,
it's like
knowing that it's dropped this fast, October. I mean, if it keeps on dropping, October we could probably be seeing like our first snowfall because I've been there's like the first snowfalls have been happening in like October the last couple of years. Disregard, I think last year, I think it started a little bit late, but like the last couple, it's been like around October. We had at least like a coating, maybe not like a full blizzard, but like we had at least a coating of something.
we got to acknowledge also we live in southeastern Pennsylvania here. Like if you're
Right,
in
where you get
central
every
or-
little bit of type of weather here.
if you're in central or western PA, like you probably have already seen snow by now.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
it's
Or experience like really like 20-30 degree cold weather.
Yeah.
In the mornings.
it's like the wild thing about this state is like this bottom corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more mild, but if you go like I've been to Erie like once or twice in my life, it's so much colder there.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
if
so
you
much
love
colder.
seasons, right here is good for you.
Yeah,
But it
This
again,
tri-state area, yeah,
if you love seasons, there you go. But like say like Florida, if you're a summer person, Florida. I mean, can you say California is typically like a summer thing? I mean, they do get cold. I mean, even Florida gets cold weather, but it's like cold for them is like now. Like this would be cold for them in Florida.
yeah. I mean, the thing they call Florida like all year summer,
Right.
because it's basically 60 to 90 degrees, like in that window
Mm-hmm.
year round the calendar.
Right. Because I mean, Jen's brother like lives in Florida, and usually like they're still having like decently warm weather, but at night it'll get cold. So like this type of like 60-degree weather is like oh, it's freezing for
Right.
them. Like they're not typically used to like when you're having like again like 90 to 100-degree weather, then you have a night where it's like 50-60 degrees. Like I'm freezing.
Right.
But like here it's like I mean it's cold, but it's not like uncomfortably cold.
Right. I mean, as far as California goes, like
You've been there way more than me, so you would know more than me.
my first time in LA, I went in January. It was like 55 degrees at night, but 70 degrees during the day. And I'm like, this is like so perfect for me.
Yeah,
It's like
that's-
basically where we're riding right now.
Yeah.
Like, except during the daytime, like, because we're filming right now, it's like 4:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sunny and just calm, like no clouds. Like right now we're in overcast because
Hurricane
hurricaney and just
Ian is kind of just that we're getting like the residual of everything.
Right.
So
quick shout out.
yeah, a quick shout. I mean, it's sad to see everybody that got affected by the hurricane. We hope everybody who is at least made it through is safe and comfortable. But yeah, I mean, have you been through I mean, we've been through hurricanes up here, but we had one bad one that came up here like in like 2015, which it really did some damage.
Okay, it was
I forget what name it was, that one.
I don't
But
remember
yeah,
the
it
name.
did some decent damage because I was in the studio that night and I was coming home in the hurricane because Jen was at the apartment. I had to run home and she was like freaking out because
you said 2015, right?
Yeah.
So you came home to Jen, which means you guys were married by then.
Yes, yeah, and we were still
Were
in the
you-
apartment. We were still in the
You were
apartment
over here.
Yeah, we were still in Aston over here.
So I was working at Wawa at at that time,
Yeah.
and I went into work that morning,
Hmm.
and I got to tell you, like, I was tag teaming the coffee station with
Right.
my GM, and this was like the beginning of June, pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because like my studio, we went to nationals, and that boss of mine, her daughter was at my studio, and the one day we were out, like it was in Atlantic City, and the one day we were out like near the beach bar thing.
Yeah.
She was just buying my drink. She was like, Jim, I can't thank you enough. Like you really pulled through for us, like, because so many people lost power.
Yeah.
So it was me and her for 3 hours from like 6 to 9 a.m. Just there were dozens of bodies just waiting for their coffee.
Hmm.
Which back to coffee again, right?
Back to
Works.
coffee.
But
Everything goes back to coffee.
yeah, I mean, it was that was an unreal storm. I mean, there were trees down everywhere around here. It was just wild. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw some videos on like Twitter with this Hurricane Ian that just passed, and I saw people commenting that were like, yeah, the storm wasn't really that bad. People are just speeding up their videos to make it look worse. And I'm like, oh my God, internet trolls need to just
Yeah.
knock it off. Like, seriously.
Natural disasters aren't a thing. It's just troll people trying to make it like, shut up.
Yeah, seriously.
You'd be crying like a baby if you were in it too.
So,
Because I mean, we haven't had a bad one since then, but like, you know, down in Florida, I mean, they're obviously more prone to getting that type of weather. But when you're in like the eye of a hurricane, that's gotta be whoopsie nuts.
yeah, I mean, you're talking Cuba. Like, if the people that live in Cuba,
Yeah.
or like Puerto Rico, like they get that stuff.
Right. And even
It's like
the spot that we honeymooned at, Turks and Caicos, they always get swamped with those things. I don't even know how they stand.
it's
Still.
it's wild to think
Still.
that those are like resort areas, but like you're prone to weather disasters like all the time.
Right. And like, it makes a good point that you just said. Like, I mean, you have a lot of the resort areas where I'm sure they get rebuilt a little bit better than the outside. Like, because when we went to Turks and Caicos, you drive through the poverty area and you're like, wow, this really sucks. Then you get into the doors of the resort, like, this is wonderful. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that about like Jamaica,
yeah,
like Mexico, like
you start like it took us, I think once we got off the plane, it was maybe like a 20-30 minute ride through, and then you get to the resort, but you saw like poverty, like just everything, and like, wow, I mean, you don't really take a like think like, wow, we really have it good in the US until you like see something like that, and you're like, oh well, these people are really like starving to have like a bad. Then you go into the resort, like, oh, I'll take a mimosa, like 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 you just saw the most poverty town, you're like, I'll take 2 of those mimosas, please.
and I'm drinking them both for myself.
Right. Like, I know I just saw some kid that hadn't drank water in like 3 days, but this mimosa is coming down really smooth. Like,
I mean, that's the thing about
again, going like we. I'm not gonna say it. Like,
cut yourself off there, didn't you?
yeah,
CB'd yourself. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Food.
Okay. Food. Yum.
No, I mean, my first time like in LA was January 2006, and so many homeless people. Like, you walk along Hollywood Boulevard and you're like, oh, this is like glitzy glamour like you see on TV, and then you step like off of like the Walk of Fame, not 1 block, and it's like
right,
and like just even downtown LA, like you would think is like real nice. I mean, it's not like a crapshoot,
right,
but it's like, whoa.
Like, you only get to see like the good sides of everything.
Well, it's every time you hear about Hollywood, LA is like this amazing, manifest destiny like place to be.
Right?
And then you go there and you look around and you're like, I didn't see that on TV. because they don't
Exactly.
show it.
Yeah.
I mean,
the things that and we're not big like media people, like, oh, the media and all that, like, it's, but the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, the media only necessarily shows you what you want to see. So it's like when you see a lot of those things, like, oh, I mean, you don't get to see like the badder sides of those countries, where like, oh, well, we'll just show you what we want you to, like, oh, this is like the good part, and blah blah blah, and then
they show you.
We're really going on a bender on this one, aren't we? Like
a little bit. A little bit. Literally, they show you like every part of the country, and they make everything look like presentable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, we want to bring our money there, and then they'll cover all of like the murders that are happening. And
exactly.
it's like, can you like find a middle ground here?
Right. Can I have a mimosa, please?
On that.
Whoopsie.
Clickety clank.
Lady clank. Clank, 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 clank.
Clank, 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 clank. Yeah, it's literally like, this fire feels great, but we have it on like the lowest grade.
And it's good. I mean, like you said, because we would have been blasting propane for like the last hour. But
well, we dialed it down to make sure that we weren't just like wasting it.
Right, because when you flew it up, it was like whoosh. You're like, okay, it's warm, but it's like my face is gonna burn off by the last hour. Like,
there go my eyebrows.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That. Oh my goodness.
But yeah. So October 1st. I mean, we have something planned for you guys later in this coming month. We're not going to say too much, but I'm a big fan of Halloween. I've always been, and we'll get more into it another time, but like, I don't think I remember my first Halloween costume, but we'll briefly go, maybe this is what we'll put in more on another time, but what was like your first costume you remember of being?
So 3rd grade, I was Frankenstein, and I remember that only because there's like a picture of me at that elementary school over there that I went to, with me, and like I had like a little black suit and like the green mask and everything.
Yeah,
that's the first costume that like I remember. Now, I want to say 5th grade, I wanted to be a wizard. I went through like this wizard phase, and this Harry Potter, like,
right,
we're going back to 1996, 97.
Yeah,
and that first book
wasn't even like a
come
thought
out until, I mean, it was a thought in the author's head.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
it wasn't published yet, but I had this like big, like, I was real big on like wizards and like magic and stuff. I was also really into Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
so I was like a monk, I think in 4th grade, and my older sister, who is an artist, actually painted, like, I had a monk costume, but she painted the Mortal Kombat logo with the dragon,
nice,
like on my chest. I felt like the coolest kid in school. I was like,
whoopsie.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What about you?
The first costume I remember, and I'll say the same thing as kind of what you said, like you remember it, but you have another one that you fully remember. Like, the first one was me in like school. I think we had, I was in Coburn Elementary, and we usually had like a parade, like a Halloween parade. Everybody comes in their costumes. I think I was like a werewolf. You had like the plastic werewolf mask, and you had like the little get up thing. So, and then the one that I fully remember, because I had it on video, and I always go back to this like video, I was a ninja.
Doing the bug thing again, everyone.
Bug thing.
There was a bee on me. Sorry.
See, if I was back in my ninja days, I would have karate chopped that mother. Whoopsie! I'm saving your life.
Saving your life.
But no, I was a
Saving your life. Saving your life.
But no, I remember being a ninja. I don't remember how old I was.
I'm pretty sure I was a ninja when I was in
I
like,
think every like boy was at least a ninja once.
Yeah.
you know. So I had like the whole, face covering thing. Just a traditional like black ninja, and they had like
Full-blown samurai.
the samurai
Yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
And then so that was one that I remember. Keep a look at, and we'll probably talk a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll get into the like that was like my earlier costumes, like when I was in elementary school. I think I really think and you were here like the one time I hosted the Halloween party.
Yes.
Like I only did it that one time, like transformed our basement, like decked it all out,
which was really cool.
Yeah, I was this guy, and we'll post the
we'll
picture
put a clip up.
Post.
Yeah.
I literally like bought cardboard. I took dimensions. And
that was
built that. It's still down. It's downstairs.
You killed that. That was good.
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was
a pretty good representation.
Yeah, if I can
now seeing like the actually what it was,
and no,
what you had, it was good.
I wore a suit with it. Just cause, I mean, there is one image of Pyramid Head in a suit, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna do that because, well, not that.
Not that, no.
There's definitely an image of him in a suit, and I was like, well, that's easy. I'll just suit up and then like I invested everything in the Pyramid Head and the sword.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Come on.
I definitely think that was like one of your best costumes.
The helmet alone, like the fact that I built that, like I DIY'd it and I took the time to like really. Of course, when I want to find it with him in the suit, I can't find him in the suit. But yeah, I mean, you and Jen being
Enzo Amore
and Enzo. Oh, so fun, man.
Yeah, I was Enzo Amore, and she was
was it not Carmela?
Carmela.
Oh, okay. I forgot that she was
Big Cass.
She was.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
she was Carmela. Okay, good. But yeah, that was probably the funnest one I made, because I hadn't gone out of my way to make a specific costume in a while at that point, so that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I did some pretty fun ones. Me and Cheyenne did like a we tried to be like clever about it last year. I did the Machine Gun Kelly thing.
Yeah,
I dyed my hair blonde.
Right.
And at the time there was so much beef between him and Eminem. So she was Eminem, but she was like an Eminem like
candy.
a chocolate.
Yeah, clever.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. We have a pretty fun concept brewed up for
nice
the end of this month, and
nice.
We will. I mean, you guys will know once we get closer to that time, right? My dude, more fall things. I mean, we'll talk more Thanksgiving once we get there. How big are you on Thanksgiving, though?
I mean, as I've gotten older, Thanksgiving has just been a big dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, which has always been, but we don't really go out of the way to make it anything too spectacular,
right,
but just making it a big dinner and try to get as many people together as possible.
Now, like with Jen's mom living across the bridge and everything, like, do you go to her or do you all get together? Now
that unfortunately her dad passed away years back, she comes to us now. So we just do everything at my parents' usually.
Gotcha.
But we used to do the 2 family thing. We'll go to her house because they used to do an early dinner. We would go there at like 11, 12 o'clock, have like a lunch dinner type thing. And then we'd scoot over to my parents and have like a dinner.
It's funny that you mention that because like I across like the couple long-term relationships that I've had, literally everyone did dinner at like 2 or 3 o'clock,
right,
and my parents always did like normal dinner time.
Yeah,
So
same
I
with
lucked
ours.
out in being able to do the one
Right,
and then come back here to do the other.
exactly.
It was just always like, you didn't want to disrespect anyone and like not eat. But I'm
Right.
like, I can't eat 2 full Thanksgiving meals here.
No,
Like,
no, and it was good the fact that we ate at like noon, because then our next meal wouldn't come until about 4 or 5 o'clock. Because like you said, I didn't want to be rude and not eat theirs and then eat everything at my parents.
right.
So it's like, you wanted to have like at least like a
Try
bit of everything.
Trying to balance it.
Yeah, try to balance, have a bit of everything, because at least you knew you had like a 3-4 hour window before your next meal, so then you can digest and kind of you're doing your traveling, everything. So it worked out for a good amount of years, and then now we all just come to my parents' house, and we'll do like the afternoon, everybody will come hang out, and then we'll do the whole Thanksgiving dinner thing. I would say more Christmas is usually like the bigger, we try to make it more meaningful with like doing like a Pollyanna thing, but we can talk about that later as the Christmas season gets here, which is coming around the corner.
Well, episode 50 is going to be like a couple weeks before Christmas, so we're going to be doing all of that talk in that time.
Stay tuned. But yeah, I mean that Christmas has always been like the bigger dinner, because it's almost pretty other than Christmas morning and all that. I mean, the Christmas dinner has always been more bigger planned out, where Thanksgiving's just been, I mean, we like, I know you have like the Sunday dinners just like we do, so it's like it's almost like another Sunday dinner but bigger,
right? I mean,
so
I think it was like up until like COVID hit,
yeah,
and like when we had the studio type of thing, I think Sunday dinners with like almost my entire immediate family, it was almost every Sunday.
right.
It's like COVID hit, the studio closed. I mean, now it's like once every 3-4 months that we're all
trying to get it all together.
Summer, a little different because like the pool here, so
yeah,
you'd see the nieces here more. Yeah, it's just it's interesting. Like my sister's oldest daughter just started 6th grade, and I'm just like, you serious?
Yeah,
like it's just
coming full circle.
I mean, I think it's important to note, like, and I think about this like working with kids a lot, like especially like I'm working with kids year to year to year, and I'm watching them like evolve and grow up, kind of thing. And I'm like, I mean, you basically look the same now as you did when you were like 19. You haven't aged.
I really haven't aged too much, thankfully, because I always got jealous of that, because like people that I knew, like they looked older, and then especially like being carded and stuff, like like I think when I was like 21 and like up till maybe like now, no, I'm kidding, maybe like just before I hit like 30, I was still like kind of getting carded here and there. Right. I don't really remember the last time I got carded, and plus I don't really go out to bars that much anymore. But I always had an envy for people who were like in their 20s but look like they were like 5 years older than what they looked. And I'm not sure if it was like because they were able to grow facial hair better. I didn't really start having a beard until, well, if you call this a beard, but I didn't really grow more facial hair and keeping it going until maybe the last like 5 years or something.
I mean,
I've never been too much of like a beard person.
You had some pretty sick sideburns in high school.
They were pretty sick.
I was pretty jealous of you.
They went past my ear. They went past my ear. They were pretty low. They were sitting pretty low, like a low rider. Okay.
No, you literally had like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, mutton chops, all the way down to the jawline.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, seriously, I even until now, my my beard hurts. If you know Zach Galifianakis, my sideburns, like I don't grow hair right here.
I remember you telling me that like you had like a little patch,
It's
and there's
here,
like a little patch like
and
here,
I have
think,
a
or one
patch like
here.
right here too. Yeah, so sideburns. The only way I like could do sideburns was if my hair was if my hair was long enough
Yeah,
that I could like
cover it.
cover the like the patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I recently, because I had let my thing go like throughout the summer, and I had never really had like a full, like it was like really starting to like grow out, and it just started getting annoying, and I had to cut. I started trimming it down because I have gigs and I have a work thing that I have to go, so I really can't look like a slob. But now it's like that it's like all trimmed up. I'm like, oh, okay, I can feel my cheekbones now again.
Yeah.
So actually having like somewhat of a beard for like 3-4 months, I was like, yeah, okay, I mean, it's not that bad, man. I wouldn't mind doing it again.
Yeah, I mean the most full that my and we can post this so that
Mm-hmm.
the audience can see it, but like the most full that my beard, like I want to say
You had it growing out
ever was right
pretty decent
right
for a little while.
right before COVID hit. Look at this.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever get that. Like, I don't think mine could ever get that crazy. Maybe if I didn't shave for maybe a year,
well, you have
probably
you have to like look groomed for work, right?
Yeah,
It's like the whole
exactly.
thing.
So I wouldn't be able to go looking like that too much.
Yeah, and the only reason why this beard works is like my hair was short up here, so I had the disconnect line.
Yeah,
And I was just like, yeah, but you see all this monstrosity, right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm like, okay, if I had to grow a beard for like a job, I know I could do it.
You definitely could.
Yeah. Take a minute, but pumpkin things, right? Do you go to the where do you
Linville Orchards, and I think we're gonna be going there pretty soon because the first 2 years we didn't bring the little guy because it was way too cold. And him being an infant, we didn't want to have him out in the cold too long. But I think we're gonna well, he had a birthday party at Linville for one of his daycare friends, so he's been to Linville already, but he hasn't visited the pumpkin land. So we're gonna go there and
Nice.
let him explore, let him pick out one. So that'll be cool.
Nice.
Because I mean, Linville was definitely something of a big memory growing up, doing the pumpkin land. I mean, it's nothing like what it used to be before like the fire happened and everything. They had like the whole mazes and get-ups and everything. They still have some of the stuff remaining over there, but I think a lot of it is definitely not like what it used to. But that would be definitely something we would go to like during around this time, do the pumpkin land, pick out a pumpkin, and do the mazes and rides and stuff. So that was cool. So something to kind of be like, okay, this is something I did as a kid, so I want him to kind of experience it.
Pass it along.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Did you go to Linville like that when you were younger, or?
So my mom like used to take me when I was like elementary school. Like,
Yeah,
I remember her taking me there when I was like in kindergarten. Now I did PM kindergarten. What about you? Did you do morning?
I think I probably did morning.
Well, your mom was she an aide when you were in school or no?
She became an aide when I was in maybe 4th or 5th grade.
Okay, so not
so
he wasn't there yet.
I think I was AM. I'd have to double check with her, but yeah, I think I was AM.
I think for my mom, who when I was in kindergarten, she was like doing the work from home thing, but I had 2 older sisters that she was like sending off to middle school, or I'm trying to think. If I was in kindergarten, Kim would have been in like 4th grade, so she was just getting on the bus to go to elementary school. Miss would have been 7th or 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss was going to middle school, Kim was going on a bus to elementary school,
right?
And then my mom was just trying to get her day started, and then she just drove me once I had to go to PM kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Carly wasn't even born yet,
right? Is it crazy? I mean, knowing that we were so close to Linville, like we probably could have crossed paths at Linville at one point.
So weird. It's a weird thing. I think about this all the time.
Could have been a very small percentage that we could have.
I think about like people that I meet in like life in general,
Mhm.
and then I grow closer to them.
Yeah.
The one thing, like when I die, is like I wish that there was a way that I could say, okay, did I cross paths with this person before I met them?
Yeah.
Like
It'd be cool to kind of like see like, okay, pick a spot and be like, okay, I was here.
even at
but-
Granite Run Mall, like
Right.
probably in the same vicinity of people and just never knew it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Because how many times have we said we've been to the Grand Run Mall when it was actually like a thing to go to the mall?
I mean, middle school.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I mean,
high school, even mostly, but
yeah, high school started fading out, but yeah, definitely elementary school, middle school, like going to the mall on a Friday night was a thing.
Well, when we were in middle school, we're talking like the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, because I mean, you had the arcade games, you had the arcade, you had KB Toy Store, you had
Hot Topic.
Hot Topic, FYE and all those things that at least like kind of hang out with.
Formerly called the Wall.
The Wall,
right?
Right. So you had a lot of things to keep you, occupied while your parents would just spend their money in Sears or Macy's. My dad was still like a Macy's. Well, he was still. I don't think he goes to Macy's anymore, but he was a big Macy's fan for a long time.
Mm.
Like we would get him like Macy's gift cards because he would just, well, now I think weren't they like Strawbridges for a good while, and then they went back to Macy's or something?
I'm not sure.
I remember Strawbridges being like either taken over by Macy's or it was like something.
See if I can find that real quick.
But
take up too
yeah,
much
so
time.
JCPenney's was more my mom's thing.
Well, I think Sears was like the dad thing, and JCPenney's was like the mom thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you hate when you had to go to the mall, but you knew you weren't gonna go do your things? You had to go with your parents to go to like JCPenney and look at like clothes and a lot of boring whoopsie, and you still had to stick around with them. Like, when are we gonna go here? Like, you're not going anywhere. Stick here, or you're.
Let me tell you, I'm so glad that you brought that up because when I was a kid and my mom was like, "Come on, we're going to Kohl's," I'd be like,
"Whoopsie." Now I actually like it, but when you're a kid, like when you're going for clothes, like, I really don't feel like doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
this weird stuff.
And in like today's day and age, you won't be able to do what I did, because what I did was I'd be like, "Mom, can I please
drink?
I need a refill soon."
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, "Can I have the keys?" Like, I'm over it. And I like reluctantly asked her for the keys because I was like, she's gonna give me the keys. Those sirens?
Yeah. Cool. Did you ever do what I did and hide in between like the clothes hangers and stuff until your mom can't find you?
Hold that thought. All right, so
but no, like I was telling you before we had to cut off for a sec, you were talking about how your childhood and doing like things, and then I was telling you, did you ever like hide in like the racks? Because I remember hiding in the racks and like making my mom's life a living hell.
Yeah, so I think what I was saying was like nowadays kids can't just ask their parents for the keys to the car, and because like. So it was
That's right. Yeah.
It was always a catch-22 for me because I'd ask for the keys to the car because I didn't feel like shopping with my mom anymore. And then I'd go in the car and I'd be like waiting for an hour, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay. Like I'd be there forever, and she'd be like, "Oh, good, I got this troll out of my hair," right? But as far as like me hiding in the store, I figured I'd bring the source onto the show herself. So, Mom, you want to come tell this real quick?
Mama Green
in the house.
Welcome to One Set.
One Set podcast.
Yep. Hey.
So the truth teller. Let's spill the tea.
All right. The 5 of us were out shopping. He was 4, which made Kim maybe 7, Miss 9, around that age. And
11.
we were in the store, and he was getting rambunctious in the cart, so I took him out. He was right here, right there, and we were looking at some item in the store, and the next thing I knew, I looked down, and he's gone. Just, okay. So, like, girls, where's Jim? And his dad is. We're like looking. What? He's nowhere. We're now in the next aisle over here, and the aisle over there. I got the girls over there. We're over here. We come back to where our cart was, and like, where could he have gone? It's like, I'm ready to get, I don't know, somebody from the store to make an announcement, missing child or whatever. And the next thing I know, I look down and he's coming out of a cabinet. Okay. He was totally inside this cabinet. You wouldn't have, and here he, because I was like, oh my God, where is he? There he is. Looks out, like, what are you doing? It's obvious he was in a cabinet, but yeah, that was one thing that he did that shaved a couple years off of my life.
Mom's right.
So to answer your question, I've definitely hidden in the store before.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling the story. I was too young to remember.
And I never forgot it.
Dogs are calling you.
Yeah, I know. Bye.
I got a story to tell too, and I need to call my mom, because how your mom was saying the fact that she saw you, and then the next thing she saw was like not you. I got a story to tell too, and I'm gonna get my mom on the phone real quick. So we'll have her.
Mom's on the pod.
Mom's on the. Hey, just want to let you know, before we start, you're on the pod. You're on One Set Pod.
Are you really like, all right, am I on it now?
You're on it now. So me and Jim are talking about times where we made our moms pretty much just lose their shit. And so Connie was just talking about the time where Jim was in the store, and all of a sudden she was looking down, and then all of a sudden she was looking down again, and he wasn't there. That made me remember the time where we were on the Ocean City Boardwalk, and I walked off with another parent.
Exactly right. Holding on to another person's hand.
Holding on to another person's hand?
Yes. I'm like, looking, all of a sudden, he's like, we're looking for you. And all of a sudden, he's on the boardwalk, and he's holding another person's hand in front of us. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
And she looks at me, she's like, Anth. And I look up, I'm like, you're not my mom. Like,
exactly. Oh my God.
So I had to get you on about that. And also to clarify, we were talking earlier about kindergarten stuff, and Jim asked if I was either AM or PM kindergarten. And I said I was AM.
AM.
AM. All right, I got that right. All right, so we can clarify and confirm that. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that. And I had to tell the story of, me thinking that I had a separate mom.
Well, that's the only time, one of the only times that you've made my heart go, like, lose my stuff. Okay?
We could do that on another pod. It's fine.
No. Do one more.
No, you know what? You'll have to have me and Connie in person with you guys, and then we can really.
We'll have to do
some things.
We'll have to have a mom roast on us. That'll be good.
Absolutely.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day. There you go. We'll do a Mother's Day episode. Connie and
That's a great idea.
Bern and Connie episode. Though you guys will be the hosts.
Absolutely.
You heard it here, folks.
That would be fantastic.
You heard it here, folks. All right. All right. I will talk to you a little later, Ma.
All right. I got to tell you, one step.
You mean one set?
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
Love you, Ma.
Love you.
I love you guys. One step.
All right. Talk to you.
Love you
All
guys.
right. Love you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Gotta love her.
Well, this has been One Step with Anthony.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.
Guys, thank you guys for being here. We had a fun time. Make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We have a lot of fun things planned for you guys. And we'll catch you on the next one. Happy fall.
Happy fall. Cheers, y'all. Love you, brother.
Love you too.